Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Sorry. Uh, let me see something. Anyway, uh, I hope that everyone had a lovely Christmas. I apologize for not doing our annual Christmas with Santa. Hi, Dory, Eric, Tara, Melly Babe, Peach, Pam B, Mallory. It's all up in the club. Okay, so Florida Keys, brilliant mistakes. So anyway, I don't even know where to start. So my title, uh, as you see, is it a faux pas or a FUPA? I found that a little bit amusing. That's all. I had no intention of making a whole live about Laura, but she thought that I was, and she said, that I was a narc and she was going to go down that road again of rehashing shit. But apparently she changed her mind. She just now thinks I'm a weirdo for bringing it up. But listen, it was pretty funny. Hold on.
Then she also made a major faux pas. Then she also made a major faux pas.
So, Hartley had seen it and she made a little video about it, and now Laura's saying that she did it as a joke. It was a joke. She purposely said faux pas instead of faux pas. So that's all I was going to. Yeah. TT is trying to get you to talk to her on her channel. Why? I haven't. Speaking of that, someone is using an account called Diane Snatching using my avatar, and for some reason, like idiotic people like Corey think it's me, and M Rose, it's not me. I have not been in Trisha's side chat ever, ever. So I don't know why she wants to talk to me. Okay, Stephanie, no problem. Just knock on the door. So here's what I want to say to Laura. Stop saying that because of me, no one sends you super chats. That's the most ridiculous thing. You made more money off my back uh, in the beginning of the year, in probably 1 or 2 months, than you've ever made on YouTube ever. So stop it with that. That makes no sense whatsoever. Now you're doing it with Natasha too. So you're blaming Natasha for not for you not getting super chats. But who paid for your Christmas? Wasn't it your Patreons? Didn't you have your children thank them all? Knock it off. All right, so I'm done with her. All right, so thank you, Gone Girl. Thank you. Yeah, it's all because of her. Exactly, blank space. So here's the thing. I wasn't going to talk about this publicly, but and I only share this with some people. But about a half hour ago, I had a conversation with someone, and I guess it kind of got me really upset. So I am going to share this, and it's always a risk to share these kind of things on here. So about 15 days ago, uh, my mother wasn't feeling well, and she thought she just had a little, um, sinus problems. My mother has allergies, and my mother has never even had so much as a cold. Probably the last time she was sick that I recall was when I was 10 years old on Thanksgiving. She got strep throat, but she was extremely healthy, no chronic illnesses, nothing. So she wasn't feeling well. Now, just know I'm not going to use that word here because I don't think you're supposed to talk about this pandemic thing. So I'm not going to use that word. But uh, about 15 days ago, she wasn't feeling well. And all through this whole thing, I have, you know, made my mother promise that she would, you know, wear her mask if she went outside, that she would stand 6 feet away from people, even if she was outdoors, and everything was fine. So about 15 days ago, she started not feeling well. She thought it was her allergies and sinus. And then things started getting worse. And on December 23rd at 6:50 p.m., my mother passed away from this thing. So I had a conversation with her neighbor who her neighbors were lovely and they loved my mother. They treated her like their grandmother. It turned out that there was a man of 37 years old who got it, who had it. And he had been outside talking to this neighbor of my mother's. And he told him that he had it and he wasn't wearing a mask. So this man, this neighbor, got really, really mad and said, well, why are you even outside and you're not wearing a mask? You're going to get people sick, like Miss, I'm not going to say my mother's name, because he was very concerned for her. So I've been watching people, you know, people that I watch on YouTube, and not in this community, but I'm talking about people that I watch, big YouTubers, and I'm watching them at Christmas time having big Christmas parties in their house with, you know, so many people, so many people, and no one's wearing masks. And I'm like, what, you know, what's going on? What is going on? Why are people not being careful? Especially with this new strain and with people who have had it also getting it. I mean, John Crimes just tested positive and he's been vaccinated. I can't. Thank you, everybody. Listen, I you know, I'm still in the you know, the anger stage. I couldn't even be in the hospital room with my mother. Fortunately, we were able to Zoom. I'm pretty sure that she heard me. And let me just say, the way this takes you is not pretty at all. It's not pretty at all. My mother lived a good life, though. She lived a really good life. She was a very special person. And I'm not just saying that because it's my mother. She was the most kindest woman that I know on this earth. She never said a bad word about anyone, unlike me. Unlike me, she tried to rein me in a lot when I would get angry with road rage. And she would always say things like, Diane, that person might have just found out that, you know, they're sick, or they might have just lost their job. She was one of the sweetest women on this earth. And, you know, I've lost my father and I've lost my sister. And I thought losing my sister was hard, but I think the hardest loss that you can have is your mother. And it's going, you know, it's going to really be hard. But again, she lived a really long life. And, you know, I guess I always thought that my mother would be one of those people that just, you know, died of old age and in her sleep. I never thought in a million years that this would happen to her. Yeah, my mother was funny too. She, not long ago, I was saying on the live stream that, my mother loves the movie Dumb and Dumber, and because she loves Jim Carrey, and she told me that she watched it again not long ago, and I just didn't get it. But my mother, uh, her comedy sense was very much different than mine, I guess. But my mother was very intelligent. She was a reader. She was very well informed about things going on in this world. She was, sharp as a tack. Um, and I know that a lot of people here, right in this community, have lost people who who they've lost people, and people have it right now. Um, I just never had, or I thought that it would ever touch my life in my real life. So, but I'm saying this because I want everybody to be careful. I just want everyone to be careful. Just be careful. It's still out there. No one is safe. Things are getting out of hand. And I really wish that the people that I see running around without masks on, because I'm at the point right now, if I see anyone without a mask on, I'll take a charge. I'll take a charge. Um, so everybody just be careful. And my deepest condolences to the people in this community who have lost someone from this horrible pandemic, who are in the middle of, having to watch someone in their life go through this. I don't even know what to say. Please wear your masks. Please wash your hands. Please, if you have it, don't go outside and think that, and cough in hallways and touch things. Please just really be careful. Because I don't see this going away. Thank you, Dreama. Yeah, everybody just stay healthy and, do what you can. The best thing is not going into what ended your mom's life. Ballet Babe, the thing that's going on right now, I don't want to say it here because I don't think you're supposed to be talking about the pandemic. Thank you, everyone, for your condolences and your prayers. I'm still not, I don't know. I feel like I haven't, yes, the C word. I feel like I'm still not, that this is still not like registering with me. I'm still really angry at that man because in my head, I believe that he's the one who caused it, caused my mother to get sick. But on the other hand, yes, Mandolin, yes. But I also know that God's will is God's will. And I also know that with what my mother believed and my father believed and what I believe and what my sister believed, that my mother is with, I love you too. I know that my mother is with them. And then one day I'll see them again. But the only reason that I decided to say anything was because I really want to warn people that it's not getting better. It's not getting better. I mean, at the height of this, she was okay. And now this. So I don't, even know what else to say. Yeah, this makes YouTube drama so damn petty and unimportant. Yep. Then please get your rest. Your mother wouldn't. No. And the funny thing was when my mother was sick and we didn't know that she had this, I just thought, like she thought that she was just having some kind of little sinus infection and she, was drinking tea and cough drops and things like that. She always worried about me. I mean, always about me. She said, you should take a nap. She was always trying to push naps on me, telling me they're good for you. This way you can stay up and watch TV. My mother loved to watch all of her TV shows. And so she would take naps. She was a napper. I'm not. So yeah, always, thinking about me. Yeah, she was more worried about me. I think she kind of felt, and then she said something, when she said this to me, it scared me. She said, I just think it's the end. That's what she said to me. So I feel like my mother um, just, I don't know, maybe knew something. And Diane, my mom has been so stubborn about going to the hospital, but I'm so thankful that she did go, or I may not have my mama here now. Yeah, my mother was very stubborn. And of course, I don't know, I feel guilty. I feel guilt when I shouldn't because I have no control over it. But for some reason, I feel, as much as I tried to protect her, and, she would say, I want, her neighbor always did things for her. And she said, he said that he would drive me to wherever she wanted to go. And I said, no, I forbid you. You're not going anywhere and he's not going to take you anywhere. So, yeah, yeah, Daria, I feel like she did. And again, she lived a really long life and really healthy life. And she was, a beautiful soul. Beautiful. So, uh, you people act as if you're immortal, for fuck's sake. What does that mean? I'm not trying to scare. Oh, well, hold on a second. I'm not trying to scare people. But I'm sorry, this is a very scary time. If you don't like what I'm saying, then you can leave. But this is a very scary time. I'm sorry. And I want people to know that. Thank you, frustrated lurker. Yeah, she did, Erin. Yeah, my mother, yeah, I did tell quite a few stories about growing up. I'm sorry. Thank you, Polka Dot. Yeah, turn on the news if you're not scared, you're not paying attention. I know that here in Pennsylvania, starting on January 3rd, unless you have proof of vaccination, you can't go in Philadelphia, you can't go into a restaurant, a bowling alley. Uh, you just can't. So when I see large groups of people gathering, uh, when I see it on YouTube, it scares me because I know they're having a really good time and they're having a ball. They had a great Christmas party and they had 50 people in their house. But I'm like, I hope that none of those people had COVID. Oh, I said the word. Anyway, yeah, was making sure I didn't say that word. Well, the thing is, Mama Cat, there are people who are getting this strain with being vaccinated. Uh, John Crimes just tested positive. Now he seems to be okay, and it might be because he was, vaccinated, but also everybody is different and everybody, I guess, reacts differently to this. Some people barely get uh, ill, and some people get very ill. Uh, so yeah, I really don't want to make this whole live stream about that. I just thought I would share that so that people that I care about in this community know that this is really not going away. Mass psychosis, stop it. People die. Fear mongering. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you to leave, Boo Boo, because you're not making any sense. I'm here sharing a story about my mother, and I'm sorry, you're gone. Yeah, don't time her out. Just, I'll take care of it. Yeah, thank you, Helen. Yeah, I'm not in the mood. I told you already, I think I've said it, I'm about ready to catch a charge for idiots. So I hope you're wearing a mask, Boo Boo. Um, anyway, I didn't want to make this whole live about this, but like I said, I wanted to share um, because I just want everybody to be more careful. Yeah, and yeah, that very well could be blank space. When I hear people, I'm not going to even mention their name, standing in front of people, in a public place and saying that they don't want to be forced to put a mask on, and they don't believe children should be wearing them, or people in general. I don't understand those people. I don't want them. I don't want them around me. I just really don't. Listen, please stop correcting her. This is her story about her beloved mother. Have some fucking respect. Thank you, Mandolin. And it's not just about my mother. Unfortunately, I lost my mother to this, and I don't understand why. Because of one man who had it and didn't care about anybody else around him. So that's how it happens. That's how it happens, people. And that's my point. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your prayers. And, I do. I appreciate your prayers and your love. I just want everybody to be safe. I don't want to hear about another fatality, especially here in this community. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear another person saying that, they're sick from this. I just don't. 2 cousins and their 3 kids in total have it. Found out Christmas Eve morning. See, this is what I mean. And, I worry about the kids too. Like, I don't know if kids are getting it. And now I see that kids are getting it. I thought kids wouldn't get it. I don't know. It's really, really scary. I have 3 jabs and still wear a mask. Well, you're supposed to, Jane. And that's what kills me, as this man just so selfishly said, oh, I can't wear one because I have other health issues. Well, then you should be quarantining yourself in your home, not gallivanting around. So I'm angry. I'm just really angry. I think the best thing to do, I lost a family member today. She was terminal and we expected it, and I'm still crying like a damn. Well, you know what? Even if you expect someone to pass, it's still very difficult. When you don't expect someone to pass, it's difficult. So yeah, I mean, Mallory, I want people to know, because I never thought it would happen to me or my family, that anyone in my family would be touched. I kept a really close watch on my mother, and it still happened. So it's really scary. Columbus is mandated to wear masks, but our town isn't. Our numbers are rising and all the hospitals are full. It makes 0 sense. Yeah, it does. Thank you, Uber. I have it. Been in isolation since the 22nd. Well, I pray that you get better. I'm sorry to anybody who has this. Yeah, right, Jeff? You just don't think that it's going to. Thank you, Carrie. It's, not easy. Yeah, well, and that's good. I'm glad, Remy, that you are because of work. I just feel like some people are just not wearing masks. My deepest condolences, Diane. We're in another lockdown here, and I've had go November 19th. It's so hard, and yeah, it's I don't know. Thank you, Jeff. So anyway, thank you, Lily. It is horrible to lose a parent. It's especially, like I lost my father a long time ago. Um, I was in my 20s, and then I lost my sister, and I thought that was hard. But losing your mother is, I think, other than a mother losing their child, is probably the greatest loss. That's just me. I don't know. Thank you, my love of crafts. We are in some scary times right now. Please, everyone, be careful. Hospitals are overrun and healthcare workers are so tired. Exactly, April. So, everybody, just be careful. I want to see everybody here, next year at this time and pray that this is gone. I mean, I always keep hope. My mother taught me that. Never give up on hope. Never. So, I don't want to ever give up on hope that this is going to go away. Thank you, Ella. Um, yeah, well, that's it, Pugs. Your mom is your mom. That's the one who gave birth to you, and that's the one who told me my birthday story every birthday, every year. She told me my birth story from beginning to end. So I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss even her phone call. When she would leave me a message, my mother would like say, if I missed her call, um, oh, thank you, Nanny Love. Thank you so much. Um, my mother would call me on the phone and leave me a message, and she would say, call me tomorrow or call me today at 5. And then she would say, Mom, like I didn't know it was her. That was every single message. Call me later. Call me at 2. Mom. Every single message was the same. It was so funny that she did that. Yes, it's very hard to lose a mom. It happened to me as a young teen. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine that, Remy, losing my mother as a teen. I can't. Your mother is such an important part of your life, especially as a teenager. You go to your mother for everything, everything. So I am grateful. I am immensely. Yeah, she signed her voicemails. Mom, I have it. Maybe I'm going to save it and maybe I'll play it because it was so funny. To me, it was so funny. Um, oh, now I lost my train of thought. Uh, yeah, losing a mother as a teenager has to be devastating. I am so appreciative that I've had my mother as long as I've had her. Yeah, I'm going to save the messages absolutely, just like I saved my sister's. Uh, Thank you, Tally girl. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard at any age, but as a teenager, uh, you know, it's got to be really hard, and I can't even imagine. My sister is a school principal who was told that they can't force kids to wear masks. Well, I'm, uh, yeah, all of that disturbs me, and I don't even know what to say. My mom says, "Well, I guess you got your machine on like it's an old phone." Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think that my mother. I think that my mother got that I couldn't hear her message. I know that my sister, when she would leave me messages on my cell phone at like 4 in the morning, she thought that I could hear it for some reason because, my sister wasn't well. And she would say, I don't know why you're not picking up. Oh, I couldn't hear it. Thank you, Vicky. Um, but you know, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Um, Still have my mother-in-law's greeting from her answering machine saved. She had the old-fashioned answering machine. Yeah, my mother didn't even have an answering machine. She didn't want one. She didn't care. My mother she didn't care about technology at all. She would, you know, when she would call me up, I would play songs for her. I mean, my mother had lots of music and lots of things that she would listen to. She was a PBS watcher. But when she would call me up, I would go on YouTube and I'd say, "What song do you want me to play?" And of course, she'd say, you know, Tony Bennett, or in fact, not that long ago, she asked me to play Dionne Warwick. That's what friends are for. She loves that song. So I used to play her songs. And unfortunately, you know, this Christmas, you know, she wasn't here for Christmas. Here in PA, all mandatory mask mandates started after New Year's. I ride the subway, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, and I just read, CK, that January 3rd in Philadelphia, you can't walk into a restaurant, a movie theater, a bowling alley without having a card that you've been vaccinated. So there's that. I never had a close bond with my mother. I never met my father. My older sister was more like my mom to me. My mom is 98 and is still well. God bless her. God bless her. And I can't even imagine, you know, what that's like, not having a close bond with your mother and never knowing your father. That's got to be hard. But you did have your sister, so yeah. Well, some relationships, I get it. Yeah, I'll be okay. Yeah, my mother wouldn't want me to, you know, feel guilt or anything about her passing. She just wouldn't want me to. She's, but what's the point of having a card showing you're vax? People are vaxing. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I just think they're doing what they think is, you know, the best thing to do. They're trying to do whatever. But yet, like, I'm astonished when I see people on YouTube having giant parties with 50 people in their house. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, I really hope that you enjoyed yourself and everything. But I hope that none of those people had COVID who came into your house, or, you know, and passed that germ around to everyone. Chicago and Cook County are doing proof of vaccination starting on the 3rd. And that's all great. But like I said, you know, we said people who have been vaccinated, John Crimes is a perfect example. He's been vaccinated. He was about to get his booster and he got sick, so he couldn't get it. And now he tested positive. So it's just crazy. Thank you, Just Angel. Good, Olivia. That's what you should be doing. Everybody, even if you're vaccinated, you need to mask up. That's how my cousin got a Christmas party. Yep. So that's it. And I'm like, and I don't even know this person that I watch, right? Her name is Raven Elise, and I like her channel, and she's got a little girl. I don't know her personally, but I'm nervous for her. We're having a really bad stomach flu here. Ugh, that's horrible. Stay away from germs. Stay away from people. Florida is open and awesome. I vacation 3 times a year, even since COVID. All right, so thank you, Top Cop. Yeah, and somebody just said, you know, grief goes in different waves, and yeah, I'm like angry now. I'm kind of in the anger stage. My husband and I were both vaccinated. My husband caught it, and I caught it from him. He was in the hospital for 10 days. I'm convinced he would have died without the vaccine, and there's a very good chance that might have been true, Lizzie. The vaccinated can also carry it. Exactly. Everyone wear your mask. Exactly. And stay home when you can. I mean, staying home, we've been doing it for quite a while now. It's not that bad. For a while I missed, being able to go places, but now I don't really care. I'm like, I don't want this. What I'm hearing is that the vaccination is to curtail hospitalization or death. You can still pass it. Yeah, you can still pass it. Where did the seasonal flu go? As far as I know, Torn Prince, it's still out there. People are getting the flu. And I think people who probably are getting the flu are nervous that it's not just the flu. Yes, yes, Nanny, I do feel that, and I do know that she's with my father and my sister, and I believe in what God promised us after death. So that part I feel good about. I know where she is, and I know that she's free. But she was she was so full of life. She loved the holidays. She I mean, even things like food shopping, picking out her food when I would order her food online for her. She, I don't know. My mother just loved everything. Everything made her happy. She had, pictures everywhere of everybody, me, my sister, my father, her sisters, her brothers, her mother, her father. She loved having pictures all over. So, and she loved memories and going down memory lane. Very different than me because I don't like, seeing pictures. Not because I didn't have good memories. I had wonderful memories of my family, but because it makes me sad. Yeah, people living in Florida. Well, this girl that I watch, she's in Texas, so I don't know what's going on down in Texas, but I'm telling you right now, I really hope. I'm kind of hoping that I'm not going to hear in 10 days that one of those people at that party, had COVID. I know, Diane, you're always perked up talking about your mom. Well, because she was, funny, kind, beautiful. She was beautiful. She was so beautiful. Um, God, when I have, a picture of her in a frame, my mother and father on their wedding day, my God, my mother was a total knockout. She was absolutely gorgeous. And my father was pretty handsome, but my mother was a knockout. A knockout. My children cannot go back to college unless they have a negative test. Yeah, well, and that's good. I read today the numbers in Florida are as bad right now as in the height of, yeah, it's sad. This whole thing is sad. Blanky tour. Thank you, Miss Wright. Thank you. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. I have, nothing but beautiful, you know, memories of my mother, and she's lovely, and I'll be okay. Well, just Angel, my mother was. There's nothing but beautiful things to say about my mother. Diana, picture mom across of I Love Lucy and June Cleaver. Well, my mother was, she didn't wear pearls and an apron, but she certainly was a, stay-at-home mom, cooked dinner every night. If I got sick, came home from school, she would say, okay, go in the den and lay down, get into your pajamas, and I'll make you tea and toast. She was a very hands-on mom, always. My father was the neurotic one. He was the one that would be like, oh my God, they're sick. He would come home and take my pulse. He was a helicopter dad. So helicopter. Thank you, November Rain. So anyway, again, I wasn't going to share it, but I had a conversation with someone this evening, and it was with her neighbor, and what he told me about this man, I didn't know for sure, and I was very upset. So when I heard that he didn't wear his mask, I was like, oh no, people need to wear their masks. It's her last voyage. There's no flight that goes higher up to the stars as hers, and she is shining like a diamond. Thank you, Frenchie. Yeah, she is. She's with God, and my dad and my sister and the rest of her family. Good night, sweet Melissa. Thank you so much for your prayers. There is a day that goes by that I don't miss my mom. I understand that, Paige, and I feel the same way about my dad and my sister. And the moment I wake up in the morning, the first thought that comes into my head is my mother right now. So, and I know that when, time goes on, things, get better, because I went through it with my father and my sister. But right now I'm, at that moment where I wake up and I'm like, boom, it hits me like a ton of bricks. I think so too, Lanky. People should be following guidelines, but they're not. We all sadly lose our parents, though, prefer they don't bury their children before their time. Condolences to all who have lost our loved ones. And that's also true. Yeah, I mean, I said, my mother lost her daughter, and I can't even imagine, um, what that felt like for her, because I never had kids. So I don't know what that feeling is. But I said that for me, the worst loss is losing a mother, besides a mother losing their child. I can't even fathom what that must feel like. Yeah, hug your mom extra tight tonight, Nanny Love, because you just never know. I will always wear a mask. I don't give a fuck what happens. Yeah, me too. All right, so I'm not gonna. Okay, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna move on from this now because um, I'm getting like I'm getting like anxious. So I don't want to, I want to move on. Um, I'm sorry, Top Cat. Well, that's good, Erin. All right, so yeah, let's move on. So I already did the Laura faux pas, FUPA. I thought it was funny. She took it too seriously, then tried to say that it was a joke, that she did it on purpose. Listen, Laura, we love your isms, so don't ever change. Uh, keep doing them. Keep doing them so that we can have a whole list by the end of December and just read them off or play them off or whatever. Um, I just thought it was funny. It was not meant to, get you all bent out of shape where you were going to do a whole live stream about me and whatever. By the way, I'm sick of tamales. Do you know I've never eaten a tamale? Ever. They look really good, though. I've just never had one. Maybe I'll have to try one. Yes, we all love the faux pas. And I feel really bad for her because I know that she wanted to get that word right. You know what I mean? And it came out FUPA instead, which it was funny. Come on. It's funny. So, all right. So where did Stephanie Brown go? She's supposed to come up here. Hold on one second. Oh, I didn't drop her the link. Good Lord. I just looked in my mod Discord. Well, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I just dropped a link. I hope she's still around. Yeah, I mean, I invited her to come up on panel with me, and then I didn't drop her the link. How dumb of me. But I really do hope that everyone did have a wonderful Christmas with your families, and I am really sorry that I couldn't do. I'll play it. It's really short, Teresa. I'll play it. Hold on. So, I apologize for not having our Christmas. It was going to be great. Santa was going to be here. I had you all on the naughty list. It was going to be no one on the nice list. It was just going to be you all on the naughty list. It was going to be fun, but unfortunately, I just couldn't do it. I'm behind in stream, but I'm praying for you, Diane's channel. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to cry. Helps us heal. Gretchen, darling, thank you. Listen, I know you're not up to here yet, but you lost your husband, and I can't even imagine how that felt for you. But thank you. um, you're over Christmas crap. Yeah, listen, Christmas comes once a year, and I don't know, it just comes and goes so quickly, but I do hope that everyone had a great Christmas, despite everything that's going on now in our limited get-togethers and whatever. So Stephanie, if you can hear me, hello, Stephanie. Stephanie, hello, where are you? I dropped the link for you in the mod chat. So a while back, oh, sorry, I was going to play that for Teresa. Hold on.
Then she also made a major FUPA. Then she also made a major FUPA.
Oh, play it again.
Then she also made a major FUPA. Then she also made a major FUPA.
All right. Oh, you know what I can play for you? Hold on a second. I want to play this for you. When we were going to do the Christmas special, I asked Hartley if she would. All right, like everybody's. I think it's so funny. It really is fun. I'm sorry, it's funny. I asked Hartley to put together a little one of her little ditties that she does for the Christmas live. So I'm going to play that for you because I know that I put it on my community page. Maybe some of you didn't see it, but I want to share that with you. So give me a second. Let me get to it. Give me 1 second. It's unlisted. Oh wait, I should have just went to. I could have just went to my. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to have to share the screen. Okay. I am going to share screen. Okay, and then I'm going to also mute. I hope everybody can see this. It says that I'm sharing, and I hit the audio little thing in there to make sure that you can hear it. And here we go. Just open your zipper, pull it out, and then just when you're done, you just jiggle it and stick it back in.
I think Flurpy do that she got it mixed up with me dry humping.
Hold on. Hold on. Because I wasn't muted, was it echoing? Now I got to catch up with the chat. There's an echo. Okay, I'm going to do it all over. I forgot to mute. Damn it. And by the way, that's Randy singing from my talent contest. I'm sorry, Randy, but this was funny as fuck. Just open your zipper, pull it out, and then just when you're done, you just jiggle it and stick it back in.
I think Flurpy do that she got it mixed up with me dry humping.
Just kill the
man. They're called fancy rats. Like, that's their name. They're fancy rats.
That doesn't make it any better. Fancy.
The gun against his head. Pulled my trigger, now he's dead.
Who lights a candle and whips out a flashlight? Like, I just don't understand.
Nobody.
Mama.
So if Molly ever calls you, do not answer the damn phone.
Don't do it.
Life has just begun.
It is a, oh my God, it's called the Rose Clit Sucking Vibrator.
But now I've gone and thrown it all away.
Hang on, it's Randy. Randy has a very important thing she wants to say on the speaker. Thank you.
High on a hill was a lonely goat herd, lay-o-lay-o-lay-o. Loud was the voice of the lonely goat herd, lay-o-lay-o-lo. A prince on the bridge of a castle moat herd, lay-o-lay-o-lay-o. Men on a road with a low two-toed herd, lady-o-lady-o-low.
High on the hill was a lonely goat herd, yole, hee-hoo. Loud was the voice of the lonely goat herd, lay, hee-hoo. Folks in the town was a quad remote herd, lay, hee-hoo. Lusty and clear from the goat herd's throat, herd, lay, hee-hoo.
Is that Randy?
Low.
And what I liked about doing it is we are only sticking to the facts.
Go get your backpack because we're going to the shelter.
Anyway, the wind blows, don't really matter.
You're cozy and warm in your bed, my dear. Please go the fuck to sleep.
Boo.
Hi, I had to stay on mute because it was echoing.
Yes, I hate that. Who made that? Was that a Hartley video?
That yeah, I asked Hartley to make that for
That was
our
so
Christmas
good.
live. Yeah, and I said to her, if you want, you can go to my stream where Randy is singing. And of course, she took that, and then she found the yodeling, and she also found on one of my most recent lives when I was talking about the rose, the vibrator, and then Randy, yelling at me. She made a phone call to say,
That's right, Randy.
"Yeah, don't ever say that word again." Oh, there's Randy. She's in here. If not, that's right. We are entertaining. Exactly. We are.
That's one adjective I could think about Randy singing. Entertaining. For
Yes.
sure.
Listen, she wanted to be entered in the contest. That was when we actually did the contest. Well, here's the funny part about it. When Randy recorded that on whatever site that she recorded it on, she said she nailed it.
She did nail.
Yes,
something.
she said, "Damn, I nailed it." And then when we listened to it, yeah, we couldn't stop laughing. I mean, come on, this shit is funny. Randy is hysterical.
I think Randy's my favorite singer in the community. I must admit.
Yeah, I think she's my favorite singer too. And
every day.
And she entered the contest. Listen, it takes balls.
Hell yeah. I couldn't do it.
Good night, Gretchen. Thank you for
coming
Gretchen.
In.
Yeah, it takes
late.
balls. It takes balls. And a song like that, right? I mean, she picks one of the most difficult songs, first of all, to sing.
Did Randy win? Because if she didn't win, it was rigged. I'm going to protest in her honor.
Randy, did you win something? I think you did win.
She better.
I can't remember. I think she did.
Angel's line was hilarious too. She said,
"Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I love that she put that in there because, like, I was like, I don't even know what the context of that was. It was just funny as fuck."
Yes, it was.
All right, Randy won the Halloween contest. Yeah, as what's his name?
Malone? Oh, I remember
Post Malone.
Yes, that was really, really good.
And Tawanda won second for being Laura, which was hilarious. And then Van Lufa came as Katie, right? That was her costume. And then Katie and Tawanda were fighting. Laura and Katie were fighting. Like, it was funny. It was fun. We had a lot of fun. I mean, we did. We had a lot of fun.
I think we should do more of that. We need.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I plan on doing more of that. I plan on having more contests again, and just having a lot of fun.
I missed most of your live,
That's all right.
but I'm here
I
now.
just, I was just sharing, what I wasn't going to
Yes, I
share,
did
which I
hear that
shared,
part.
which I shared with you and I shared with, some other people. I just, at first I was just like, I don't want to share this on the internet because people here are such assholes and so cruel. But, I got really angry today because I found out something about a man who had COVID who probably gave it to my mother.
Oh,
And
you did find
yeah,
out.
well, yeah,
Mm.
I spoke with my mother's neighbor today who always looked out, him and his wife
Yeah.
always looked out and loved my mother, treated her like a grandmother, that kind of thing. And he told me because I had heard, and I didn't know for sure, I had heard that there was a man in my mother's apartment complex that had COVID. So I'm trying to figure out, like, well, how would my mother get it? Like, even if there was someone in there, like, how would she
Right.
get it? So it
He
turned
should be
out,
quarantined, right?
what?
He should have been quarantined.
Yeah, but here's what happened. Thank you, Pickle Pickle. Thank you. So what had happened was the neighbor told me that he was outside having a cigarette, and this man who had COVID was outside, told him he had COVID.
Oh my.
And so the neighbor said to him, well, why are you outside? Why are you here?
Right?
Like, you should be quarantined. And the first thought was, you're going to get people sick like my mother.
Oh, wow.
He was so concerned about that. So the only thing that I could think of was this man gave her, got her
Yeah.
sick. And I am so angry at him. He's 37 years old and
It's
he
terrible.
wasn't wearing a mask. So the neighbor said to him, why aren't you wearing a mask? And he said, I can't because I have health issues. What?
That's terrible.
So, I got angry and my concern, was that I want people to know that you have to really be careful. And that's the only reason that I shared it. And of course, I watched somebody that I follow on YouTube have this gigantic Christmas party in her house in Texas, with at least 50 people there and kids, and no one was wearing masks. And I'm like, I really hope and pray that this glorious Christmas party that you spent a fortune on, you don't all come down with this. I don't get it. Like, I just don't get why people are not.
That's awful. I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, so I was just, angry. And I said, I just want people to understand that they need to be careful no matter what. Just be careful. Please be careful. And that's why I shared it.
Mm,
So,
that's terrible.
yeah, shame on him. Fucker. Yeah, I don't ever let me run into you. I'll catch a charge.
Do you know, like, did you know the man? Do you know
No,
who?
no, I didn't know. No, I don't know him, but my mother's neighbor did. He was on the first floor. My mother was on the second.
Did he get better? Do you know?
I haven't. Well, yeah, he's still around.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. With all his health issues and shit, he's still here.
Not wearing a mask outside already,
Yes, not
knowing
wearing
that
a
you're
mask.
positive.
Yeah. Yep. Oh wow, over 100 NFL players have it now. Damn,
Ooh.
crazy. Ah,
Yeah,
thank you, Crime Canary.
this new one's spreading like wildfire, they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people
So,
aren't used to doing the things that they need to do as much. Like I feel like everybody's gotten lax,
yeah,
more than we were in the beginning.
yeah. Yeah, pickle, that's possible, but I don't think in my mother's case that was the situation. Um, it's whatever at this point.
Wow. I never even thought about that.
So anyway, we were moving on. I don't want to.
Yeah, sorry to get you back on that.
No. That's okay. You weren't here, so I just wanted to tell you, why I decided to, share. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit was, do you remember when we had Dad Challenge podcast on,
Yes.
and we talked about 8 passengers, right?
Yes.
Because 8 passengers have become a very controversial family blogger, and the whole point of his channel is to, try to get some law into effect, because these people are exploiting their children, and they're making millions of dollars, millions.
He wants to get like how they have them for children in Hollywood, and like kids
Yes.
can't work, that kind of.
Yes, a consent, because they have no consent to anything that
Social
happens from the
media.
time they come out of the womb on YouTube.
Yeah,
So
that little Ryan boy, I mean, he seems like he wants to do it, but he was famous before he could even understand, like uber famous.
Exactly.
He has toys in Walmart, toys in
Yeah.
Target. Like, I don't even know if he can still even conceive of, like, he'll never know what privacy means or a private life, or like he'll never know, because he was so little whenever
Right.
he
And look, he became, super famous and rich, but in these family blogger situations, these kids, they're used to make money, because these parents would have no channel without their kids. I mean, they're just too boring. So they take every opportunity to use these children, and she got her first period, and she's shaving her legs for the first time. And then they even do clickbaity things like, she might have a brain tumor, or, showing them with blood coming out of their mouth because they fell. Everything that happens is shown online. But this particular family, 8 passengers, have been in the limelight because of the fact that they had a couple of incidences. One was the 5-year-old daughter, responsible for her own lunch, didn't go. She went to school, forgot it. Teacher called the mother, said, your kid has no lunch here. Maybe you can drive up to the school and bring her something. She said no, she'll have to starve, because she expected her 5-year-old to be responsible. And I said, like, at 5 years old, no, you can't do that to your kid. Then the son, for doing a couple of little pranksies here and there with, his younger brother, was sent off to a wilderness camp. He had to live like outside in the bare elements. Then came home, got in trouble again. They took his bathroom door off, and they made him sleep in a beanbag for a month. They took his bed away. Now, this is a Mormon family, right, who belong to the Mormon church, who the Mormon church has more money than Bill Gates.
Yes.
And she also is part of this thing called Connections, where a group of people, her and her husband, talk about parenting. No. You can't be talking about parenting, because here's what they did at Christmas. Okay, this is the big one. They went onto this podcast and they said that because their 2 youngest kids, who are 8 and 10, the 8-year-old is the same 5-year-old who had to starve, they were not giving them Christmas. The 4 other kids were having Christmas, but the 2 youngest have been acting very selfish. So they decided that they were going to give them the gift of truth on Christmas. But in the meantime, on their Instagram channel, they have been sponsored by a toy company, right? They have a video on there. And who do you think is in the video playing with the toys?
The 2 kids, the 2 youngest kids.
2 youngest kids, right? So she's making money off of that, on top of her millions of subscribers and her other sponsorships. But those two kids are not going to get they didn't get Christmas.
So they
And
got to play with toys for the camera
yeah,
on Instagram for money
yeah,
as a
yeah,
commercial, but then they didn't get anything. Why would they go on a podcast and say that?
because they think that they're the
They
best
think it's a
parents
good
in the
thing.
world.
They
Yeah, they
think
think it's a
they're
good
doing
thing.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because, and here's the thing, and she used the word egregious. I want to know what an 8 and 10-year-old did in such an egregious way that she decided to let her 4 older kids have Christmas, but not her 2 youngest. Like no presents for them.
I think egregious is a good word. Like, for what did you say? They took the bathroom door off and made him sleep in a beanbag, but they recorded it for YouTube. Like, it's
Yes,
embarrassing enough if your
yes,
parents are punishing you in that way, but for the whole world to
yep,
see that too, that's egregious.
yes, that's egregious. And then, uh, and here's the other thing. You know, her whole family has vlogging channels, including her parents. Okay, her parents have a channel. Her sister has one, Bonnie Holeen, and then there's Ellie and Jared. What I've noticed is that they had a Christmas party, they had a retirement party for the dad, right? Ruby and her husband were not there, nor were her kids. I have a feeling, and of course, this is just me speculating, and many other people, that there was probably some kind of falling out where the sister said, "Are you kidding me? You're not giving your kids Christmas? What?" So, I mean, I don't know. I'm only speculating, but yeah. So then, she goes off into this whole thing trying to sound all, intelligent, and she has no degree in psychology. And he is a professor at a college in
Oh
Utah
my God.
of engineering or something like that, and he still works, but he's sitting there saying, and I'd like to add something to this. This title concerns me greatly. They are so different, like saying it's a spark plug or a butt plug. Huh?
It's a funny line.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Hey, Don.
Anyway, he wants to say that when he was a kid, the father said, when he was a kid, he said everything for him was about Christmas. Like it was about getting all these presents. And if he didn't get them all, he'd be really mad. And if someone gave him socks, he would be really mad. And this went on for 3 decades. And then he said, even when I married Ruby, if she gave me socks, I would be passive aggressive and I would say, well, they're better than the socks you got me last year. And then he goes on to bring Jesus into it, which really cracked me up. He said, what about people who are poor and have nothing? He said, I'm pretty sure if Jesus had the choice between going into a home of a poor family on Christmas who are eating porridge as opposed to a rich family, Jesus would go into the home with the porridge. No, that's not true. That's not true. God would be with each family. God has nothing against money. In fact, some of the most loved men by God and Jesus were wealthy men. Wealthy. Take Job, for instance. Job was very wealthy. He did, of course, in scripture, use Job, right? Job was being tested, right? He was being tested. He was losing things. He was losing money. Then it got to the point where he even got sick. And all his friends were saying, curse God, curse God, curse God. And because of his strong faith, he didn't curse God. And then what did God do? He gave him like 7 times more than what he had to begin with. So no, God is not against people with money. His rationale for anything that they're doing was ridiculous. I mean, I have them on video and I could play it, but I didn't let you know where it is to hear. All you need to do is type in YouTube search 8 passengers Christmas, and there's at least 2 videos of these 2 idiots parents talking about it, and I just couldn't believe. I mean, this is a professor, and he, and like nothing he was saying was making sense. Nothing. So you're saying that because you were, as a kid, you got everything you wanted, and if you didn't get it, you were mad. That justifies taking your kids' Christmas away while your other 4 kids are opening presents. Well, I'm wondering what it was like on that Christmas morning in their house.
Like, why not? If that's the way he really feels about it, why even buy gifts on Christmas at all?
I know. I know. I mean, listen, she
Because
makes
it was a punishment. It was supposed to be like mean to hurt their feelings, to hurt them. For
well,
the
no, they
younger
had
kids to
Christmas.
see
No,
the
no,
older
they had Christmas. They decorated with like 3 trees. Um, uh, the whole 9 yards. They are having Christmas. They didn't have it with their family for the first time, like their extended family, their sisters, and brothers and shit.
So everybody
because
just comes down Christmas morning. They're so excited, and then the 2 small
youngest.
kids just stand there and have to watch everybody else.
Yep.
I just don't see what that could accomplish besides making them really angry and hurt,
Yeah.
So his point in saying that was, so he thinks that if you have money, you can't have a relationship with God.
Well, I think what he was saying is that because he was trying to compare it to Christmas Day and what Christmas Day is about, he feels that, in his opinion, Jesus would rather enter a home of poor people with nothing eating porridge than a rich house. And that's just not true. That's just not true.
Yeah, because
if they're both believers, right?
Yeah, Jesus
Or
says love your neighbor. Jesus says
Right.
love your neighbor regardless of any stipulations, I think. That's the way
Yeah.
I look at it.
I just, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand. I don't know. I feel like they were trying to commit suicide of their channel by doing
Are they
this.
popular? Do they get views?
Well, they
Like the
listen.
stuff
I
up
haven't
there?
checked it. I haven't checked their channel lately, but they have over 2 million subscribers, and they used to get many, many, many views. I feel like what this guy Josh is doing, he has actually had some effect on different channels that he talks about and goes after for
I
exploiting
didn't
the
know
children.
about family vlogging. Like, I didn't even really think about what the genre was. I found his channel when Micah Stoffer, the Stoffers, had
Yes.
rehomed their son, and he was covering that. And that's
Yeah,
how
he was
I
pretty much
even
just
learned
starting
about
up.
it. I'm
He
sure
was
there's a
pretty
lot.
much
Yeah,
he was
that's how he started his channel. I'm sure more people like me found about this through him because he was, like in the algorithm at the time, it was really hit because people were so mad about that because it was absolutely ridiculous what happened.
Yeah, it
But
was horrible. It was horrible. In fact, when he came on my channel, he didn't know that much about the family bloggers yet. He knew a little bit about 8 passengers. He didn't know the whole thing. I knew more than him at that time, but I always watched family bloggers. I used to watch them until I started seeing how creepy she was. And then she didn't interest me anymore. And then there was Sam and Nia with a lot of garbage. I told him about Sam and Nia briefly, and then I was watching Ellie and Jared. I was watching Holly, Bonnie Helene, which is the other sister. I don't care for her either. I think she's a little weird. Ellie and Jared are okay. They make a lot of money too. I mean, they're already on their second, home that they've had built, and they've just moved into a bigger house now.
So pretty much they have centered their whole security in life around exploiting their children on the internet. And if they decide to stop doing that, they can't even live the lifestyle that they live anymore.
No,
Wow.
no, because none of them have jobs. I mean, and
That's
they
their
all started
job.
so yeah, and they all started so young that
Exploiting the kids for money.
yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do out in the real world? You know
Are
what I
there
mean?
some people that you watch that do it like better or do it the right
Yes,
way?
yes. I watch It's Judy's Life,
I
and
know, I
I
know
have
that one. Yeah.
yeah, and I've been watching her since she had her first child. She's on her fifth now. Um, I think that they do it the right way. I don't think they exploit their children. I don't think they use their children to bring in views, meaning like if their kid's having a tantrum or they're going to discipline them, they don't do it when they're vlogging. Um, I don't like parents that like, okay, so Bonnie Holine, when her daughter, I think her daughter now is 10, 11, 12, something like that. When she was really young, she punished her like while they're vlogging. One thing was she took her to get her ears pierced and she got scared, right? And she made her sit in that chair crying for like, instead of just saying, okay, okay, we're not going to do it and leave. She was so mad that her daughter wanted it and then didn't, that she made her sit there for 30 minutes and tried to get her to do it.
Because she needed her to do it for the vlog.
I
That was her
guess so.
content. Yes, of course. That was her content. Like, why
I mean,
else
it
would
was
she sit
horrible.
there?
I felt so bad for her. Then she had a habit of biting her nails. So her mother punished her and took her doll away. What's that doll? The American doll that all little girls love? She took it
Uh,
away.
yeah, I think American Doll.
Yeah, American doll. She took it away. She did it all on camera. Her daughter was heartbroken.
For not
I
getting her
mean,
ears pierced?
no, for biting her nails and not stopping.
Like, how humiliating. And that's a Gone Girl said in chat. She said, I hope that the kids sue when they get older. I think there's going to be,
That's a point that,
that's going to be a
Josh has
vast
brought out. That's a
amount.
possibility.
Yeah, that's
I
going
never
to
gave you
happen.
permission. Mom and dad, I never gave you permission.
Could you imagine it's already fucking awkward enough being a teenager. You already, it's just like not the greatest time for a lot of people. But besides that, everybody in your class knows your family, knows everything that happens, everything that you do since you've been a baby has been put on the internet for everybody to see without your consent. It's like, how would you not be bitter towards that?
Listen, I used to, Lynn, we're talking about 8 passengers and just, family bloggers in general. Listen, when my aunt would come over, she lived down the block from us, right? And I would be trying to listen to what they were talking about. And if my mother told my aunt anything about me, like, Diane just got her first period, I was like, oh my God, why are you telling her? Why are you telling her?
One other person. That's just one other person.
Right. And that's in private.
Yeah. Like,
not on the internet. I would
Oh.
go crazy. I would go crazy.
It's
So,
terrible.
yeah.
And it's something you can like once you make that decision, you can never, no matter what, they can't, even if they stop now, they can't give them their privacy back. It's gone.
Oh no, and it's all out there. It's on the internet. It's forever. And people
Terrible
have
act.
made videos about it. Even if they were to take their whole channels down, the videos are still out there. So now the oldest daughter has moved out because she's in college, and she has her own channel. I feel like she's never going to sue her parents. I feel like some of the kids might hate their parents. I don't know. I
But
don't
maybe
know
if that's
how.
all you know, like you have been in the public eye since you were a baby, that's all you know. Maybe it would be normal to you, but a lot of those young Disney actors and actresses, a lot of them were really fucked up when they grew up. They had hard ways to go because they were famous so young and they
Yes.
didn't know how to deal with it, I just don't think it could ever be normal because all the other kids in your class aren't They don't have all their intimate moments on the internet like you
Well,
do.
and that's the other thing. So now you've got to deal also with kids that you go to school with, right? Who find out that you're on the internet. And then, like, let's say in this situation with these two kids and the way they're acting so selfish or whatever they're acting up for, that their Christmas was taken away. What if when they go to school, they're being bullied? Like, maybe they're acting out. And I still can't imagine an 8 and a 10-year-old. Listen, at 8 and 10, because she said she used the word selfish. Well, aren't kids selfish in general until they're taught? Like, even sharing, right? Sharing with your sister or your brother, your
Yes.
toys. You have to be taught that. If the mother and father are not teaching it, then you just expect your 8-year-old to know not to be selfish. I mean,
Well,
so
I think you are kind of teaching them to be selfish when you're forcing them to be exploited on the internet for money and views. You're
yeah.
kind of being pretty selfish.
I just was in shock, and I just find it really odd that her whole family, like, I'm watching her other family members, right, it was a retirement party for the parents. They weren't there. There was a Christmas party. They weren't there. So I'm thinking to myself, and again, I can only speculate at this point, because every, every family gathering, they were always together. They were absent for this. I'm thinking that even the mother must be saying, what are you doing? You're going to really take away these kids'
Right.
Christmas? I mean, wouldn't your mother say something to you if you said, listen, my two youngest have just been so selfish this year. I'm not giving them Christmas. So just
Yes, I
letting you
think
know.
any grandma would be like, what are you talking about? Like, nah,
Exactly.
this isn't happening. No.
Exactly. So I listen, I don't know what was going on with this guy in the side chat.
Thank you, Angelo.
Tom Prince. I don't know.
Thank you. He was asking about talking about the vaccine and all that. We
Oh,
weren't even
okay.
talking about it anymore. So I just timed him out because he kept on and on and on and on. I just asked him.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Listen, I already said I'm in a bad mood. I'll catch a charge for anybody that's talking about it. Not wearing a mask. If I catch you outside not wearing a mask, beware.
Yes.
I'm
And there
just
was a
putting it
lot
out
of
there.
people. You'll go into full Karen mode. There's a lot of people a lot of people have been affected and have lost people close to them. It's not unless you've been in that situation, then you're not going to see it that way. It's not so personal and tragic to you, Tom. Not saying that you haven't been through that, but you can't. There's so many people
I
that
didn't
have
even see
been
his comments.
personally affected.
I didn't even read his comments, but like I'm not in the mood for it. I have a shirt I wear down here in Texas. It says wear a mask, rat liquor. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm at that point right now after finding out what I found out about this man. Listen, everything is in God's hands, and I still feel like he's responsible for my mother, and that's something that I'm going through now. I'll get over that. The fact that he's alive and my mother is not. I'm
That's a step in the grief process. Yes, you're in the anger phase of that. That's you're grieving.
Yeah, I'm just angry, and I just really am not in the mood for someone coming in here, and the other person who came in earlier tonight too, who was saying some ridiculous things about immortality and blah blah blah. Get out of here. I'm not in the mood for that. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I just feel like with these family bloggers, some are good. Like I said, I do watch some that I don't believe exploit their children. I think that they ask them, do you want to be on camera? And here's the thing that even
Yes.
Josh said. He said, you know what? have your channel, still have your channel, make your living on YouTube, but don't have your kid as the center of every vlog. Don't
Yeah.
clickbait people into things that are not really happening.
What if
Thank
they
you,
get to
Moderate
be
Chaos.
teenagers and they, realize and understand what's going on? They're like, I don't want this. I'm out. And your
Well,
whole
and they could, and that could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Ruby has, 8 passengers. They do have teenagers. Unfortunately, they're still going. I think she's cutting down a little bit more now, based on the fact that she's doing these podcasts. She's actually being paid by someone to give advice. Hi, Yepsalot.
love that.
Actually being paid to give parents advice on raising kids, which I'm floored that anyone. She has no degree in any kind of child psychology. First of all, I don't know why anyone would be going to her.
like
That's
her
just my opinion.
children. Her children are clearly not outstanding. She said that they did something egregious and didn't
Yes.
mean so. Why is she worthy of telling other parents how to raise their
I have
kids
no idea.
and charge for it?
It's mind-boggling.
It's probably she probably makes a lot of money doing that too.
Yeah,
It's a
I don't
risk.
know.
It's
It's
a
kind of
risk.
like a life coach, but it's a parent coach. And I just, I mean, listen, we have the world's most favorite life coach in this community.
Right.
So this is kind of like that. She's a parent coach, which is hysterical.
That's just terrible because there's probably so many people that are really like vulnerable and like I don't know what to do and feel so at the end of their rope, and then they're willing to give their money out for some bullshit advice.
Well, again,
Mm.
and and I hate to keep bringing this up, and please, if there's anybody here who's belongs to the Mormon Church, I am sorry, but it's all affiliated with the Mormon Church. The whole
Well, I
thing.
know that they are strict, and because I've listened to people talk after they leave later on in life.
Oh yeah, I
and
love those channels. There's a really
Yeah.
good one that Josh kind of introduced. There were a couple who left, and
Does she have
now
red curly hair, or he has red
no
curly hair?
blonde.
Maybe that's
She
the
has
one.
blonde. I can't think of their channel right now, but they were on Josh's channel and kind of spilled the beans. And then, now their channel has really taken off, and they're both very, very intelligent people. One of their last videos I watched was about the undergarments that you have to wear. And I was like, what in the heck? This stuff is crazy. But again, I don't mean anything bad.
Yeah, because
Anything bad.
somebody was telling us the other night whenever we were talking that the churches do differ. Like some are really, really, really strict, and then some are not
Right.
as strict and not so. Because the ones that I watched talk about it, it was the mental anguish of because you're
Yes.
expected to be perfect, pretty much was my
Yeah.
understanding,
Yeah.
and you can't,
And you can't do this and you can't do
sin
that.
at
And you can't
all.
wear
Yeah.
you can't wear a top like that. And you can't wear anything that your belly's showing, and you I mean, like, it's
And when you're a kid, most people, if you're told you can't do this, you can't do that, that's the things you want to do. Like,
yes, and that's
it
in
makes you
any
want to do it.
Christian, and that's in any Christian denomination, because the one that I belong to, my ex-husband actually
Any
was a
religion, pretty much,
teacher
I think.
of the teenagers, right? He would be,
Mhm.
and these teenagers who were raised in Christian homes were, they were just going off the rails because
Yes.
they wanted to do things that teenagers do. And then, of course, the sex thing came up. It's so stifling for them.
I was
And
not allowed to watch. I wasn't allowed to watch anything with curse words, anything rated R. I wasn't allowed to watch scary movies. I wasn't allowed to watch MTV. I wasn't allowed to watch anything. Nothing.
oh my gosh, I didn't
And
even know that.
I did it 10 times more than probably a normal kid.
Well, you're going to sneak, and you're
Yes,
going to end
because
up sneaking behind your parents' back and doing
it
that. So you see, my mother
felt
and father were not
rebellion.
that strict with me.
Right.
I could watch pretty much.
I think it's
My
better.
father was a prude. I mean, if I was watching a TV show and my father walked in and there was kissing, he walked out. I mean, he was just like, he wasn't comfortable with that, but they never told me that I couldn't watch MTV or, like no one ever
Better.
told
I'm
me.
telling you,
Yeah.
it's better because it feels like it makes it fun and something exciting. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's something you're not supposed to be doing. So you're like, oh, I want to do that thing. And
Right.
it has the complete opposite
Yeah.
reaction.
I
So
was just afraid. I was
I'm
just
the complete
afraid of
opposite of
everything.
that with my kids. Like I don't hardly restrict them from anything that they want to watch. Well, not anything, but you know what I mean? Like I'm really
Right.
lenient about it because I know what
Right.
it does.
Yeah, it just makes you want to do things more when your parents say you can't do this and you can't do that. And I think that's, my parents weren't really strict. And I think that's why I never did anything really bad. Like I
Yes.
didn't say, well, I'm going to go out and drink, because I never drank. I didn't go out and do drugs because I was afraid. I was afraid of pretty much everything out in the world that was happening, and watching my friends. What made me not drink was going to parties with my friends, them all drinking and then puking all over the place. I'm like, no, thank you. I'll pass on that. So that was enough for me to never drink. Drugs, I tried pot and I couldn't handle it. I mean, I would go off into Gaga land. I fell
Yeah.
asleep in a movie theater for 2 hours. I couldn't even drive. Um, and then when the one time that I did, I ended up cutting school and work. And when I went home, my mother said to me, "What are you doing home?" And I said, "I don't know." I remember doing that, and because I was stoned.
Yes. And you feel like everybody knows and they're looking at you. They're like,
Yeah, and I
"She's
said, "I
stoned."
don't know." And then I realized what I just said, and I said, "I have to get out of here." So I walked over to my friend's house, and then once it wore off, it just didn't mix with me. And when it wore off, I went over to my friend's house, and um, her mother had like lots of goodies and stuff, and and I experienced the munchies. So that part was fun. But I also got stoned at a Christmas party for work, and I, I, the girl said to me, "Do you want to smoke a half a joint with me?" And I said, "Sure." Or split a joint with me. And I said, "Sure." And I should have never done that, because when I got there, I was sitting with all the people from work, and I think I thought I was drinking everybody's water. I don't know if I actually did that, but in my mind, I thought that I was. And I went to the bathroom, and it felt like I couldn't stop peeing, like I was peeing forever. And I ended up calling up my ex-husband and saying, "You have to come and pick me up. I'm stoned." And he
Yeah.
said, he said, "I can't do that, and you'll be fine. It'll wear off." So after that, I never did it again. It was just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. It's not
So
mine
yeah, I've
either.
been pretty straight my whole life. No drinking, no drugs. I was a chicken.
Even the Amish understand the importance of exploration and individual learning. Yes, I've watched a lot about that too. They have to go. I'm pretty sure it's Amish. They have to like go and experience regular life for a certain amount of time before they can
Oh, I didn't know
completely,
that.
as an adult,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
be Amish. Because I
Yeah, I
guess
think
if you don't, then you're always going to wonder what it would be like to not live that way, so that takes that desire away, and for sure you want to live Amish.
yeah. I think being part of any kind of church congregation, whether it's non-denominational or not, you're going to have your problems, even if it seems to be a very open kind of an atmosphere where there is no basic rules and regulations
Especially
of the
for
church.
children. Especially
Yeah.
for children, because the way that you take in things as a child is so different, and things can be scary, and you exaggerate them in your mind, and it's just, it can
Yeah.
be really scarring. It can.
Yeah, and that's another thing. My parents never pushed me into going to church. We used to go, all my cousins on Christmas Eve, we would go to Christmas mass, and we just did it because it was like part of Christmas. I was never forced to go to
That's
church.
what kept me away for so long because I had to. So
Yeah,
I
I
didn't. I
never
didn't
had
want
to.
to. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I get it. I mean,
wasn't my choice.
I guess that was another thing that I was, really blessed with. My parents not pushing that down my throat. Either of my parents were very religious. That word I'm using because that's the only word that I can think of. But they were married in a Catholic church. I was married in a Catholic church. I made communion, but I didn't make confirmation because I didn't want to. I said to my mother, "I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it." And then when I got married in the Catholic church, because I didn't know any better. Like I didn't know I could get married anywhere I wanted to. So I, went to the church, and then they said to me, "Did you make communion and confirmation?" Because you had to do all these sacraments in the Catholic church. And I'm like,
I have a story.
I said, yeah, I did. I lied. Otherwise, they wouldn't let me get married there. And I didn't know what
Yes.
else to do at the time. Like I was young, and I figured, well, I didn't know that I could just go to the country club where I had my reception and get married there.
Because
And
that's
get,
all you knew, right? Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's all that I knew. I could have just had like a pastor or whatever marry me. And they would have come to where my reception was. I didn't know that, so I lied.
Well, I grew up Pentecostal. Do you know what Pentecostal
Oh
is?
my gosh.
Like a
Listen, let me
holy
just tell you
roller.
before you tell me that,
Mhm.
when I part of my work years ago was in the staffing industry, right? So I was in the staffing industry, and we would get these weekend assignments for temps to do these art shows, and they would always do them in like country club settings or whatever, and use the ballrooms and things like
Yes.
that for whatever it was. One day I decided to go to see what it was all about, and there happened to be a Pentecostal church group there. I guess they were
Mhm.
doing it there, and they were singing and they were jamming out, and I was like, this is so cool. Like I'd never seen anything like it, but I didn't know anything about the Pentecostal church. I just got there at the singing part, and I thought it was like, wow, it was great. So that's all I want to say. So what exactly is it like in a
Well,
Pentecostal church?
it depends on where you go. Like it goes from as crazy as, no offense to anybody, but like where I'm from, snake handling. Have you ever heard of that? They had like a
What?
whole show about it. Yeah, like they hold snakes and tempt the snakes or whatever, and God is supposed to protect them from getting bit by the snakes. They're deadly snakes. So
Well, wait a minute. Wait. Hold on for a second.
that's the
Okay.
extreme of
Okay, but
like holy roller.
where? Okay, I have to ask. This
Yes.
question. So where in the Bible does it have anything to do with snakes and doing that?
There
Like,
is they do have script. I've never been to a snake handling church. I've never been to a church that extreme. But the first like Pentecostal church I ever went to scared the out of me. Like it was the most extreme one I've ever been to. Like they were screaming and running up and down the aisles and laying hands on each other. But now that's normal to me. But even for me, that one would still be kind of extreme. But I had never been to a Catholic church, didn't know anything about it. Like I didn't even know one thing about Catholicism or whatever. And my friend was going to the Catholic church, and she's like, "You gonna go to church?" And I was like, "Sure." It was just church to me. So I
right.
go in, and they have the little things where you have to kneel like 100 times, up and down, up and down. I'm like,
Oh
what the heck? What the heck? Like,
Yeah.
well, then everybody stands up and they get in a line and they're going to take communion. But I
Right.
grew up that if you take communion, it's like it's a unforgivable sin if you're not like completely saved at the time that you take communion.
Right.
So in my head, I was like, I can't do that. I'm going to go to hell if I do this. But everybody else is doing it. I was like freaking out. I didn't do it, but I just couldn't. It was so different for me than what I never went back. I never went back to a Catholic church because it freaked me out so bad. Like the up and down, everybody going to take communion. It was just so different for me. I can't even tell you how different it was. And I was like, I
Yeah,
can't even
I
do
didn't.
it now.
Yeah, I didn't care for that either because the prayer is repetitious prayer and
It's very ceremonial.
yes.
And
Yes,
I'm
it
used
is
to,
very
like you said, a band, like guitar, drums, a whole band, not
yeah,
like a choir at all, like a band in
yeah.
church.
And I don't know. I think the church, Catholic Church, progressed over the years um, in order to, keep people there, younger people. And they started. I had a cousin who used to play the guitar there, and they used to do different kind of music. I still didn't care for the Catholic Church, but that's just me. I didn't like it.
Yeah, for me, it's so different that, like, the churches that I grew up going to they're just more it's really just open and laid back. It's not ceremonial at all. It's the
Right.
opposite of that, and that was so it didn't feel like church to me because it was so different. And
Right.
then they were trying to force me to take communion.
Damn,
Like, I was so scared.
I thought the snake handling stuff. Because I heard Molly mentioning the snake handling at the 7-Day Adventist, and I was like, "What? I've never even heard of such a thing." So
There was a good they did a show where, like, around where I'm from, and it was about this family it was a snake handling family. I wish I could remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of it right now, but they had their own snakes. Like, they would take their own snakes to church, and they had like a whole room full of deadly snakes, and they would
oh
get them
my
out and
god,
they'd hold them.
ugh.
It is insane.
I'm sorry. That would not. If I walked into any church and there were snakes in there, I'd be out in
I
one
wonder if they
second.
still are churches, because that was probably made 10 years ago. So I wonder if there's even those churches around now. I'm sure there's still some of them, but I think they're pretty kind of rare, the snake handling churches.
Good Lord. I'm telling you, that would do it for me. I'd be gone
Can you
in a second.
imagine being in a church and they pull out a snake and they're like, here,
No,
it's your turn.
no, I would, like November Rain said, no, it would traumatize me. No, I couldn't. Oh my God.
Yeah, like, that's whenever I first went to that first one that I told you about. That was the first church I ever remember going to. I don't know if it was the first time I ever went to church, but it was an extreme holy roller church, but they would run up and down the aisles and just lay hands on people in the pews. And I was like, please don't touch me, God, please don't let them touch me. I was praying.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a
But they
perfect
wouldn't
place.
touch me. They
Yeah,
didn't touch
that's
me,
where
though.
you would pray, right? Oh my God,
I was
that
like,
would
please,
drive
God,
me.
do not let them touch me. I was so scared. And they were speaking in tongues. And now that's normal to me.
Oh yeah, that
Speaking in
was
tongues.
another thing that I don't believe in that.
It's weird. I was taught growing up that you have to be saved, right? Obviously. But then also, if you speak in tongues, then you're filled with the Holy Ghost. So it's like, you're a more spiritual person, I guess, because you have
Yeah, but if
a
no one
closer
knows what you're
connection.
saying, listen. Okay, so we'd have to go back to the whole story of the Tower of Babel, right? And
Yes.
okay, so now from what I understood, their reasoning for the speaking in different languages was so that people could understand. But if someone is just babbling away, right, and just talking gibberish, and no one knows what they're saying, how can that be edifying to anyone? Wouldn't
Because
every
it's supposed to be a personal thing that, like, just God understands what you're saying.
I'm sorry, but I
I've seen it in
don't buy it.
person like a million times, and
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it and I've heard it, but
yeah.
I still don't see where there's any kind of edification to anyone if someone else is talking in tongues.
Yeah.
And I just think that they took it way out of um, they took it way out of context of what it meant in scripture. That's my opinion, and that's why I would never
Did
get
you
involved
ever
in it.
hear of like did you ever hear of like the thing that I said, if you speak in tongues and you're like filled with the Holy Ghost or whatever?
Well, yeah, well, that's what people have said, that if you're the reason you can't do it is because you don't have the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Yes.
And I don't believe that, because
Yeah.
I believe that once you become a believer, you do have the Holy Spirit. So that I just never believed either.
Yeah. It doesn't make doesn't make much sense really if you think about it.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And but I have heard people do it.
Yep.
It's kind of
And
strange.
hearing that as a kid is traumatizing. I'll just go ahead and let y'all know it
Yeah,
is.
another thing, right? Yeah, another thing, that snakes and people talking in tongues. The
And
whole thing
falling
freaks me
down
out
on the
too.
floor, yelling.
Oh God,
Mhm.
yes. Now, what is that?
Pentecost, same thing. It's the Pentecost. I'm sure a lot of different factions, but like the Pentecostal churches, they all, pretty much every Pentecostal church I ever went to, they're people that they lay hands on you up front, and the people fall out on the floor and talk in tongues and holler and yell. And
Oh my God.
and when you're a kid, it's scary. It seems scary. I'm sorry, it does.
I don't know. I mean, like, I've read the Bible and I just don't recall, people falling on the floor and being knocked over and all that kind of stuff. I don't recall Jesus ever doing that. I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Okay, so Codeman says, according to scripture, speaking in tongues is a spiritual gift. I don't know. I still feel like if it's not edifying to anyone, then what's the purpose of it? I don't know. I miss something in the Bible? I mean, I know people might not believe this, but my ex-husband was, he was an atheist who became a believer and studied and studied and studied, had a concordance, studied and studied and studied, talked in front of people. And I thought that I really, got to know a lot of scripture. I don't remember any of that. I don't know.
Well, it kind of matters too what was translated originally. You know what I mean? Like it could be taken completely differently. Just depends on how it was
Okay, but
written.
okay, so Coleman is saying it's speaking directly to God, but then why not do that at home? Like, I don't understand. There's a lot of things that I don't understand, and I'm never going to understand everything.
I do know people that have said that they like have done like spoken tongues in private at home, but I don't know. I don't think that's something that you have to have a relationship with God.
No, I don't believe that either. Well, November Rain, I don't think that it's Greek, Latin, or anything like that, or Hebrew, or I think
it's not. It's not a language on earth.
Yeah, it's not. Full Gospel, which is a pew jumping kind of church. What does that mean? Yep. So what?
I think
it's
kind of like a Pentecostal.
What? Say it again.
I think it's kind of like Pentecostal pew jumping. I think she means like a holy roller.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, like I said, when I, saw that Pentecostal, group together, and they were all, music was playing and they were all singing, I was like, I really like this. Like, you know what I mean? I was never in a church like that. So, I guess at the time I was kind of looking for something like that would make me want to go, because it was joyous and fun. But yeah, I never did. After my one bad experience with a congregation, I never went back to another one.
Well, that's a different the difference too, because like some Pentecostal churches, you have to wear your hair a certain way, dress a certain way. Women can never wear pants, even in their everyday life. But then there's some Pentecostal church that you can wear pants to church, and some are super laid back, and then some are really, really strict, like kind of like Mormon. They can't wear shorts, pants at all. They have to wear dresses 24/7, and then they have to fix their hair a certain way.
Oh
Can't cut
no,
their hair.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me.
No way.
Reasons that I'd be gone. No, thank you. Bye.
Well, and
Yeah.
I just feel I just don't believe that way, because I believe that Jesus would he would speak to anybody and want to help
Yeah.
anybody, that it wouldn't matter what you look like, or
We're wearing.
yeah, or how your hair was cut or fixed. Like, nah.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that either. So that's why it's very difficult once you get caught up in any kind of man-made, organized religion, where
Yes.
men are making the rules that are not from God, and they're doing what they want to do, and that's why I stay away from that crap.
And then a lot of people fall into people in my close life, personal life, they fall into putting so much into the preacher. Like,
Yes,
he's the therapist. Everything he says, they hang on to his every word, but he's just a human, just like everybody
exactly.
else,
And sometimes they could lead you in the very wrong direction. I
Yes.
found that's one of the congregation that I went to. That pastor was not telling people the right thing, and then at some point he ended up losing his position. But I kind of had it out with him. I talked about it in the Google Meet. Um, some of the single women and myself went out dancing. He found out, and he said, "Can't go out and dance like that. Dance like what?" And it got really bad. It got really, really bad. I couldn't
That
help
sounds
anymore.
cultish, doesn't it? That's
Yeah,
like a
I
cult
wasn't
leader.
allowed to help with the teenagers anymore. And so I called him on his gluttony. I did.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how good of a preacher you have, because there are amazing, amazing people that do that, but they're still sinners at the end of the day, that are saved, just like the people.
Everybody is.
And it's some people that I know rely on it so much that they, even like if their marriage issues or issues with their children, everything they speak to the preacher about and listen to what he has to say, and it's just like, it feels like a dangerous road to go down,
It
to
can be
rely
dangerous,
on
especially.
one man
Yeah.
that much.
Well, if they're not qualified either to be giving marriage advice,
No.
it can be very dangerous. But it does become cultish, and that's why I can't be in places like that.
Preachers
No.
they're not meant to, they're just really meant to lead people to and
Salvation.
and to get them there, so then they can do the work and build their relationship with God, not do everything for you.
Right.
It's not the
Well, even priests, priests are just men wearing, some kind of outfit with a collar. That's all they are.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
why, like, in Catholicism, no offense to Catholics, but it just, for me growing up, I never could understand like that a human goes to another human and confesses all their sins.
Well, it's not
Do they?
scriptural, number one. That man cannot intercede for you with Jesus. The only person you need to go to for forgiveness of your sins is directly to Jesus. There
Yes.
is nobody in the middle. That man in that little booth behind that little screen and tells you to say 5 Hail Marys and 3 Our Fathers and you're forgiven it's sorry. Mm-mm.
No, it just seemed
He's just
it
a
just seemed
man.
like getting information on people. It's so it was
Yeah,
all that
it's
was so strange to me.
so when I was a kid, and I had to go to confession, like at the time when I was going to make communion, I had to go to classes. So of course I had to go. I didn't know. I made up stuff when I went in there. I didn't know what to
Right.
say. I like what is a sin? Like what can I possibly have done as a 7-year-old. So I would just go in there and say, and I did this and I lied. And I mean, I just made up shit. It was so crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand that part for sure.
Yeah, that was not something that I ever cared for. I mean, I don't even know where they got that from. Like, where did they even pull that out from?
When you
Show
can
me.
do it yourself, like at wherever you're sitting at any time, it's
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Yes, I
it is
get
what
that.
it is. But anyway, listen, I
Oh
gotta
wow.
go. It's 11:45. And I really appreciate everyone who came in here and, listened to me. And, you know, I just appreciate everybody here. And the reason that I did it is because I really care about everybody. And I don't want anyone to get sick that doesn't need to get sick.
Yeah,
I
keep
just,
yourself safe.
I
Don't
want everybody to stay safe. I really, really do. I just can't take much more of seeing people on here who are in the midst of someone suffering and dying, or people who have lost loved ones in here in this community from this over the last 15 months. I just can't take it anymore. And I just want everybody to be safe, really.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Well,
And
thank
I
you.
will
And
talk.
Stephanie, I'm so sorry. I forgot to drop the link. I'm like, where is
Oh
Stephanie?
no.
And then I go into the my chat and I see you say, you didn't drop the link. And I'm like, oh my God, what a terrible host am I that I
Well,
forgot to
I was
drop.
in the middle of burning meatballs anyways. So I had to get that under control because I was making them in the Instant Pot and with sauce, not like yours, just not homemade ones.
Well, that's why they burned. You
But
can't do it that way.
I used white sauce, and I think that you can't use white sauce in the Instant Pot because it kept giving me the burn notice. So I was mad about that. So I just put them on
Listen,
sauteed and figured it out.
you got to make meatballs the right way and you won't burn them. I'll send you the links to my 2 channels. I keep saying I'm going to put them in the my chat.
Yeah, do that. I'll try it. If you send it, I'll try it.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
we
got to
do
watch
love
these 2
meatballs.
channels. If you want authentic Italian food, you've got to watch them. It's really not that hard. It's a lot easier than people think to make things fresh and homemade instead of using a jar sauce. Once you learn how to make a sauce, the right way, and there's many different sauces you can make, you'll never go back to jar sauce. Thank you, Robin. Thank
Hey,
you.
Robin. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I think it's cheaper and easier. I used
Yes.
to be so scared to even try to make anything homemade. It felt so like overwhelming and hard. It's totally not at all.
It's not. It's really not. And once you get used to it and get the hang of it, I'm telling you, you'll never open up. You'll never buy a jar sauce again. You'll be like, oh, I can't eat this.
Well, when you
So
first start, you don't have ingredients like all of the spices and
right,
all that stuff. But once you buy all that stuff, you have it. Then you just have to replace 1 or 2 things when you run out or whatever, and
yeah,
it's just so much easier. You can make
and
anything
real Italian cooking, real authentic Italian cooking, believe it or not, they do not use a lot of garlic. Like here, for some reason, people love to put shitloads of garlic in Italian food. And if you
Yes.
watch these channels, either whether it's the northern region or the southern region, they do not use a lot of garlic in their food. They just don't. There is no such thing as garlic bread in Italy. So I'm telling you, I'm going to give you these channels. You're going to love watching them, and you'll get so hungry watching them make their own pasta and their bolognese sauce, and you'll say, I want to make that. You'll just want to.
Well, and then once you know how to make bolognese sauce, then you know how to make it. You don't have to look like you
Right.
learn how to do that. And then like the other things, it just takes some time and you
Right.
get the experience, you know how to
And
do it.
cooking over the years, you don't use, like when someone says, can I have the recipe for that? After you're making something for a certain amount of time, you don't have the recipe anymore. It's in your head. You just wing it. And that's what they do. They don't really, they only do it for the benefit of their channel to tell them how much of what they're putting in. You know what I mean?
Well, there's really no excuse for us. Like if way back in the day, they didn't have.
Yes,
we had
yep. So what? I
every-
will. I'm
we have
sorry.
every recipe we could ever imagine. Watch
Yeah.
a video of somebody else making it live. Like there's no excuse not to make anything you want.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, just try it. And always use fresh herbs if you can. You can get them at the supermarket, as opposed to dried,
Oh, I figured out I do not like ginger. I've been like trying to learn how to make
Oh, I don't like ginger at all.
Japanese and Chinese stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
the
don't like
last
ginger.
Chinese dish I made, it had this ginger paste that you had to, and I bought the paste for it, right? And that I threw that shit in the garbage. It was
Yeah,
so gross.
I've never liked ginger
Stop.
at all.
Ugh.
Yeah, but you can make a lot of dishes without ginger. You can, you can omit anything
I
that
do
you want.
use it. I make this spicy butter sauce to dip like seafood. Like if I make a country boil, you
Yeah.
dip.
Oh, I
the-
love
right?
country boils. Oh my God.
I
love
put a
them.
little bit of ginger in that, and it's great, but just a little bit, like a little bitty bit, and it's
I
fine.
don't
But
even like ginger snap cookies. I
if
don't
you
like
can taste,
anything ginger.
if you can taste the ginger, bleh,
Yeah,
I
ginger
can't.
has never been like I will never eat like a ginger bread house or a ginger cookie. I just don't even
I
like
do
that.
like gingerbread cookies,
Yeah, I
but
don't.
only one. I can't. I'm not gonna eat like more than one at a time. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like a chocolate chip cookie. I can eat like 5.
Well,
But
yeah, yeah,
gingerbread, no, one's
yeah.
enough.
I
Even
I
if
have
eat 'em
drinking
all.
ginger ale in my lifetime, but
I don't
it's
like
not
it.
something that I'm going like. My mother would give it to me, when I was sick or whatever.
Yeah,
But
because it does help. The
yeah,
ginger helps.
but yeah, no, that's not for me.
I don't like
Anything
it
with
either.
ginger, keep it away.
It tastes like soda with ginger in it. Like, yeah, I know that's what
Yeah,
it is. But ugh,
yeah,
not good.
not good at all.
But other than that, that's about the only thing that I really didn't like that I've used.
Yeah, well, you can still make the dish though. I mean, you can always omit things that
Yes.
you might not like, and it's still going to be a good dish.
What I made was I don't remember the name of it, but it was beautiful, and it looked like it was going to be so good. If I would have not used that stupid ginger paste, it would have been amazing because
Oh,
it
I'm
had
sure.
like tons of vegetables in it. It was I don't remember what meat I used, but it made like not a teriyaki sauce, but the sauce was made out of like oyster sauce and a whole bunch of other
Mhm.
stuff. It was so good, but that freaking ginger, it ruined the whole. Like you could not eat it. It was so strong. That stupid
So
paste.
now you know for future
Never
dishes
again.
that
Yep.
require ginger, don't put it in.
It's like
And
$10 for that damn tube too. I threw the
yeah,
whole
just
thing
omit it.
away because I'm never
Oh,
gonna
you know
eat
what
it.
I forgot to tell the members? I added some new emojis. I put in a
Oh, I gotta
loaf
do
of homemade sour bread
Mm,
because we were talking about breads, remember?
Yep.
I put in a slice of brie cheese
Cheese.
because that's
I know
my
it.
favorite cheese. And one other thing, I can't remember the other thing was that yes, you can confess something, my pink life. I've had a drink of wine tonight because I accidentally dyed my hair blue. Oh, get out of here.
How do
How
you
did
dye
you
your hair blue on
how did
accident?
you accidentally dye your hair blue?
I bet it
Please
looks
explain. I'm going to contact Brad Mondo.
Is that the
I
guy
love
that
him.
reviews people's hair?
Yes.
Hairdos?
Oh, the other thing that I put
Funny.
is a dish of spaghetti and meatballs as another emoji. So you got sourdough bread, spaghetti and meatballs, and a slice of brie cheese.
You make your spaghetti sauce too, right?
Yes.
I need to learn how to make spaghetti sauce. I bet that's not
It's
even hard.
really not hard. There's quick ways to make sauce that don't take, like if I'm going to make sauce, usually I do the whole sauce thing, which I cook for 5 hours, the sauce, and I add the last hour and a half. I, sear the meat, the pork. If I'm putting sausage, I do the meatballs, and then the last hour and a half, I cook them in there. So after they're all seared and browned. But there are quicker sauces you can make. It doesn't always have to be the long, slow cooked sauce.
What did you tell us about noodles and sauce? You told us something about putting
Pasta.
But you said something about putting pasta water.
Oh, pasta water. You always save your pasta water because pasta water acts as a kind of like, let's say you're making spaghetti carbonara, right?
Yeah.
You want to use pasta water because it's going to help thicken the eggs, because really all spaghetti carbonara is eggs, egg yolks, and some egg whites. Some people don't use the whites; they just use the yolk.
So you use it like a slurry.
Kind of to use it to thicken it and make it even more creamy,
Well,
because you're
you
using
use cornstarch to do that, so it's the same. It's starchy.
right.
noodles
You
are
would use
starchy.
cornstarch to thicken like a brown gravy or something
Mhm.
like that if you're making a roast. But
Make a
you
slurry.
save your pasta water because the pasta water will help you thicken anything. Because here's a difference. If you're going to, a lot of people take their pasta and they drain it right into a colander.
Yes.
But what real Italians do is they take the pasta right out of the water, they put it into the pan that has sauce in it, and they mix it in there. And then to make it a little
You
bit
put
thicker, if
your
the sauce is,
noodles into the sauce.
yeah.
Oh my god, I've never done that before.
Well, because it coats everything better.
Oh, I have done it to do like baked pasta, but never just like pasta noodles. I always just put the sauce on top. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, I mean, and different. Well, you'll see when I send you the links to these channels, you'll get a feel for why they do the things that they do and why they use certain pastas with certain sauces.
So, do you put
Diane,
your pasta water in the refrigerator like for a later time that you're going
no,
to cook? No, you
no,
just
no,
use
you
it
don't.
that day
No, yeah, you don't. No, you
for a
don't have to.
sauce.
You don't save the pasta water. Just
Okay.
when you're using, when you're making your dish, you'll see why. Also, they use different kinds of pastas for different sauces. You'll see it. It all makes sense when you watch it. It's
I
crazy
love
because, and,
baked
and the one
noodles.
thing that you never do is you never put oil in your water for pasta. Never.
Is baked ziti a real Italian dish? Probably
Uh,
not.
yeah. Well, yeah, they make it. And lasagna is too. They just don't do it in the same way that they do it here.
Does lasagna
You know,
have a red sauce in it?
yeah.
It does.
Oh, yeah. They don't make fettuccine alfredo the way people make it here. They don't put cream sauce into the carbonara. There is no such thing as adding cream. I saw Gordon Ramsay make it. He's got 3 Michelin stars, and he puts cream in carbonara. There's no need. It's pecorino cheese and eggs, and that's what makes your sauce. I love the way Diane talks about pasta. I can talk about it for 7 hours straight because I learned so much from these channels.
I wish that I could make I have a pretty close recipe, but make my Alfredo sauce taste like the one from Olive Garden. I love that shit. I could
See,
eat
now that's
a
Italian
bucket
American.
of it.
That's Italian
It's so
American.
salty and good.
So it is what it is. But that's why you need to watch it. It'll make you chuckle a little when you see the things that, like chicken parm. There is no such word as chicken parm in Italy. There is no such thing as parm. They don't make chicken parm. They don't make meatball parm.
I think chicken parm is disgusting.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I
I
love
don't like
chicken
it. It's
cutlets. I
slimy.
just never liked it with cheese on it. But that's not a real Italian dish.
I
So,
love eggplant parm though.
well,
It
I
is
do
so
love
good.
eggplant.
Eggplant is so good.
I do love eggplant, but I'm telling you, when you watch these people, they're so good, and they'll make you want to cook. They're gonna make you want to cook.
I'll try it. I'll try it. It might not turn out very well, but I will definitely give
Well,
it.
practice makes perfect.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, Parmigiana Reggiano. It's Parmigiana. It's not Parmesan cheese. There is no such thing. Like in the little craft bottle with
Yes.
that's not real cheese. You're eating fake shit. Don't eat that. You can find really good Parmigiana cheese at a supermarket.
Yes.
The more it's aged, the better. I mean, if you can find it 18 months, 24 months, that's fine. 18 months is good enough.
It's crumbly, right?
Yes, and you grate it, and if you don't like that, you can use Pecorino Romano, which I prefer, because I like the taste of it better. And they use Pecorino Romano in a lot of dishes as opposed to Parmigiano, but whatever you prefer.
So you can use the Pecorino Romano just like you would use the
Yes,
Parmesan,
yes,
Parmigiano Reggiano.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So you know, you can find these anywhere, as long as they're aged, at least 18 months, they're going to be really good.
BTS says that the real Parmigiano Reggiano smells like dirty socks you find under the bed after a month.
Well, listen, Parmigiano has a different smell. Pecorino Romano is very good. It doesn't have as strong of a smell as Parmigiano, but some people like that. Yeah, look, Sandy wants spaghetti now. I'm telling you, and the really funny thing about the people in Italy, they eat a lot of pasta. They eat a lot of really good meals, and they don't get fat. So pay attention to that also. They don't get fat, and they're healthy. They're like oxes. I lived in a town neighborhood for a little while, and everybody was Italian. Like everybody Italian we're talking about, they came over from Italy and settled in this town. There was a woman that lived next door to me. She was like 80 years old. It snowed like really heavy, and she had a very big, long driveway. She was out there shoveling the snow at 80 years old. I'm like, damn. But this is, because of what you eat when you're growing up is what, kind of sets the tone for,
Yeah.
If you're just eating like chicken nuggets from McDonald's, you're not going to be able to shovel that snow at 80. But when you're eating really good food, it's like the basis of your whole constitution.
The shit that we eat in America is terrible.
Yeah.
Milk is terrible for you. There's so many. We eat terrible, like terrible, terrible, terrible.
Well,
I do too.
Then you're going to have to switch over to Italian. You're going to change your whole course of life as far as food goes, and you're going to be healthy.
Well, and even like when I cook a big meal, even like when I'm hungry, I don't eat as much because I don't know why, but I don't eat as much. But if I'm just eating like something fast or something from a restaurant, I eat
kind
more.
of normal. After you're cooking like for hours, you just don't feel like eating a lot. It's overwhelming because you've been looking at food for hours.
Yes.
So I it's not like going out to a restaurant and ordering it and then you're gonna, eat it.
I love milk. And
I love milk
terrible
too.
for you, and especially if you have allergies or if you have especially skin allergies and asthma and stuff like that. It's not good to drink milk, but I love milk.
I've been very fortunate with that. I'm not even lactose intolerant, so I can drink whole milk. I've never had a problem with that.
Too.
Yeah, I love milk. I think milk is.
It's not good for us. I'm telling you. It's
listen, milk with a piece of chocolate cake, you can't go wrong.
I love milk. So good. Whole milk too.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that shit. That shit's
no,
water.
It has to be whole milk. Get out of here.
I do like vanilla almond milk. It is good.
I've never had that.
It's good. It is a good substitute, but it's not a cold glass of whole milk though.
No, there's nothing like a cold glass of milk, whole milk with a piece of chocolate cake or some chocolate chip cookies. Sorry.
Yes.
Just isn't. It just isn't. All right, guys. I'm going to send So what the links. If anybody wants the links to these channel,
I do.
You know what? I'll email me if you want them. I'm guarantee you that you'll love it. You'll want to cook. And I will give it to you, and I'll put it in a mod chat for you.
Yes.
I really want you to see it because
I'm gonna whip it up and show you all my results.
yeah, I really became
Good, bad, or
mesmerized.
ugly.
Yeah, so if anybody wants it, just email me, deepatchen@gmail.com, and I'll send you the links and, you know, have fun.
Yeah,
Have fun.
because I definitely, if I have a New Year's resolution, one is to cook much, 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 much more often, like as often as like big homemade meals this year.
And your kids will love it. Listen, I'm not telling you not to make other food. Like, you know, I love a good, delicious pot roast. I love to make braised short ribs. I love other things, you know, that are not Italian. But even the Italians make, you know, short ribs, but they do it in their own way. So, listen, I love all food. I'm not just saying only cook Italian. There's many delicious dishes out there.
Yeah, it's just way more healthy. It's better for you. You don't eat as much. It's not processed crap.
Yeah.
It's just so much better for you to do
Even
that.
their
And
pizzas are
it's
different.
cheaper. It's cheaper. Even though it feels like it's not, it is. It's cheaper. It's a better route. You spend much more money on food if you eat out. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
DoorDash
definitely.
too much this year. I'm not saying how
And I
much.
know a
but
lot. Yeah, and I know a lot of people used, you know, DoorDash and all that stuff, you know, over the course of this
I'm
thing going on.
tired of
But
that kind of food though. Like I'm over eating out. I don't want to anymore. I'm gonna make a point not to this year.
and then before you know it, you'll be wanting to bake bread and shit. So she even
I
does that.
want a bread maker. Fresh bread, there's nothing like it in the world. It's the
Well,
best
you
thing
don't
on
even
the
need a bread
planet.
maker. I'm
What?
telling you, you don't need a bread maker to make bread.
How you make it?
I'll show you.
In the oven. In the oven. You
Yeah,
just
I'll show you. You don't need a bread maker to make bread. There's
I
so many
remember
bread
in
recipes.
school we made bread in school and put it in the oven and baked it, and we put it into like candy canes and little stick men and stuff, and it was like homemade bread. I remember doing that. I have no idea how. I was little, but I
Yeah,
do
there's so
remember.
many bread recipes that you can make. Sourdough bread. Sourdough bread is my favorite of all breads. But you can make bread without a bread maker. You don't need it. I'm telling you.
Okay, I want that too. I want
I'll
that.
hook you up. I'll hook you up.
All right, I'm off here. Good night, guys.
Yeah, me too.
We'll see you
Everybody love
later.
you. Thank you so much for your prayers
Love
and
you
your
guys.
wishes to me. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you again probably Thursday night.
Good night. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.